Did any of you happen to catch the stumbling block at the beginning of Mark's gospel? I don't know about you, but it's a stumbling block for me. Mark, the oldest of the gospel writers, wrote around 67 AD, and within the first 11 verses of Mark's gospel, he throws something in there that trips me up. It's this line here. Jesus was baptized, he comes up out of the water, and he hears God's voice, and God says, "You are my Son, the beloved. With you I am well pleased. You're my own dear child, and with you I am very happy." Now, you may not think it's a stumbling block. You think, well, it's Jesus, of course. Of course God's pleased with Jesus. Well, let me tell you why it's a stumbling block for me. It's a stumbling block for me because Jesus hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't done anything to deserve this kind of blessing from God. Jesus has not healed any of the sick or the lame. Jesus has not tended to the poor or the needy. My goodness, Jesus hasn't even had to preach his first sermon, and he gets a pat on the back, the nod of approval from the big guy upstairs. That's a stumbling block for me. You see, I get tangled up with my worldly ways and God's ways. It rubs my worldly ways the wrong way. You see, my worldly ways are probably a little bit like your worldly ways. We're wired to think that you have to earn blessing. We're wired to think that you get what you deserve. If you work hard, you'll earn a lot. If you work hard, you can step up in life. If you work really hard, you can achieve. I'll show you what I mean. We've been working really hard here at Old Stone Church over the last year and a half. You've probably been working hard a lot longer than that, but I've only been with you a year and a half. But through that year and a half, those 16 or 17 months, we've been working really hard at reaching out to the city of Cleveland, letting people know that we're here and inviting them to be a part of this incredible mission and this ministry here at the heart of the city. And on Christmas Eve, how many were here for the late service? 640 people squeezed their behinds into the pews of the Old Stone Church. I was thinking, boy, I hope the fire marshal isn't in attendance tonight. I think we're only rated for a capacity of 600, but in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, we could squeeze in 700. In my mind, I'm thinking, well done, church. I'm thinking, well done, Mark. Now we're really doing the good things that we need to do in the name of God. Maybe this will really be a blessing for us, a blessing for the church. Maybe we'll hear God's voice saying, well done, good and faithful servants. Maybe we'll hear God's voice saying, well done, you are my own dear children with whom I'm pleased. Because, hey, we packed the joint. But that doesn't seem to be the way God functions, is it? God doesn't seem to function in a way where you work hard and then you can earn the blessings. You work hard and then you can earn the love. God seems to give it unconditionally, doesn't He? Thank God indeed. It seems like God is showing us a brand new way at the very beginning of Jesus' ministry. All He does is get baptized, give His life back to God. Get in the water, come on out, and I love you. It's almost as if God is saying, I have a love for you that you cannot earn. I have a love that you cannot deserve. I have a love for you that has no strings attached. As if there's any other kind of love. God is love. And with God, there are no strings attached. We get blessed simply by giving our hearts and our lives back to God. You can't earn it, you can't deserve it, you can't buy it, you can't get it by squeezing more behinds into the pews. You just get it because God loves you. Get over it. Isn't that what the prophet Isaiah promised so many years, even before Jesus, 500 years earlier? God says, I'm with you. I made you. I will not abandon you. The waters will not take you over. The fires will not consume you. You are mine. All we need to do is give our lives back to God, like Jesus did. You know, I was thinking about a time when my kids were like 5, 6, 7 years of age, and they played soccer for one season down in Nashville, Tennessee. And they were lousy soccer players. And they would have no problem me sharing this with you. They'd be the first to admit it. My son, he played with one of these teams that he and the rest of the team had no understanding about player positioning on the field. They were of the age where when they played soccer, the whole team went wherever the ball went. You know, nobody knew about defense or center or forwards or anything like that. It's like, there's the ball, let's go get it. Now, I was one of those dads who'd stand on the sideline screaming till he was hoarse. Somebody get in front of the net! Go to the net! Go to... Thankfully, they didn't listen to me because then the whole team would have gone in front of the net. But they were out in that field like the Hebrews in the wilderness, following that ball. Wherever it went, they went all as one. Now, my daughter's team, she could care less whether they were any good or not anyhow. She was in what I call the Dandelion League. She had more fun when she played soccer sitting in the grass at the side of the field picking dandelions and talking with her friends. Ask her if she enjoyed soccer. Sure, I loved it. I loved sitting at the sidelines picking dandelions and talking to my friends. And most of the kids on her team did too. They couldn't wait to get called off so that they could sit on the sidelines and pick dandelions and talk to their friends. Neither one of my kids' teams won a game the whole season. Do you know how depressing that is for a father who wants to see a win? I bribed the kids. I said, look, you get a goal, I'll give you $1. A buck. Well, it worked for me when I played hockey as a kid. Apparently inflation had come along. I needed to offer them more. Look, I'll give you $5 if you just get out there and score a goal. Who cares, Dad? My son's team tied one game. All the parents were ecstatic. We couldn't. They won. They tied. You know, a tie is as good as a win, you know, for us. The end of the season, both coaches threw end-of-the-season parties for the teams. And this is where it struck me that my thinking and God's thinking are just a little different. You see, the coaches for each of these losing teams gave all the kids trophies. The kids got trophies. They didn't win a game. Now, I didn't share that with them, but I did share it with my wife afterwards. I said, look, we got trophies. We had to win the whole season and win the championship tournaments at the end. These kids went out and picked dandelions. These kids chased a ball and never won a single game. They got trophies. But then it dawned on me, you know, maybe these coaches were teaching the kids something way more important than winning the season. If you were into a serious all-star team and that was what it was about, that's fine. But for these kids, it was about showing up. It was about having fun. And so they got affirmed just for being there. They got affirmed for just showing up and playing the game. It seems to me that that's what God is showing us in Jesus, that we get blessed, we get affirmed for just showing up. Not just to church, but for being in relationship with God. You're my own, I made you. Why wouldn't I love you? It seems to be what God is saying to us. We get blessed just for being baptized. We don't have to preach a sermon. We don't have to heal the sick. We don't have to tend to the poor in order to get that blessing. Now, I know for some people, that can be kind of scary. That can be a scary notion. There may be some people who want to say, well, Mark, if that's the case, are you saying that anything goes with God? That you can be out in that world and be a total rotter? That you can be as sinful as all get out? And God's still going to say, you're my beloved, my own dear child? I think it can be a kind of scary notion for those who kind of think of religion as a law, as a set of rules and regulations that if you abide by them, then you get rewarded. You do this, then you'll get to go to heaven. You don't do this, you get to go the other place.